Senator, I want to get to social media companies' efforts to hide this info from the American public. But first, your thoughts on what we just learned there.
Well, look, I think it is stunning. We saw last week two blockbuster reports from the New York Post. The first based on emails showing direct potential corruption between Joe Biden. And Hunter Biden is not the story here. It's Joe Biden that has potential corruptions with Ukraine. And he's repeatedly denied that he's ever met with Ukrainian oligarchs, and yet these emails suggest that he has. And then the next day, the New York Post broke a second story about what appears to be the potential for direct corruption between Joe Biden and Communist China, and in particular, an offer from Communist China to pay Joe Biden personally millions of dollars. These emails refer to Joe Biden as, quote, the big guy. And we're 2 weeks out from an election. When this evidence of potential corruption comes out, what happened next was stunning, because big tech, Twitter and Facebook, decided they didn't want the American people to hear this. And so if any American across the country tried to tweet these stories out, tried to post these stories, big tech blocked the stories. And in fact, they went so far as to block the New York Post, a major media company, from posting their own stories. And as bad as big tech's censorship and bias has been, last week marked a major threshold. Oh, no. It's the first time they've directly stepped in and said to the media, we are going to censor you, and if we don't like what you're saying, the American people don't get to hear it, and you don't get to say it.
Well, when does it count as a campaign contribution to Biden? That's my question. You know, the Senate Judiciary Committee, you're on it. Of course, Senator Cruz is expected to vote to subpoena the CEOs of Twitter and Facebook over blocking this.
Yes.
Are they going to testify this week, next week?
So as I was sitting there in the confirmation hearings of Judge Amy Coney Barrett, I tried to tweet the second of the New York Post articles, and my phone got blocked. I wasn't able to tweet it. And so I went to Lindsey Graham, the chairman. I said, this is ridiculous. We should subpoena them right now. And Lindsey said, I'll tell you what, let's go out to the TV cameras right now, and let's announce that we're going to vote next week, which is now this current week, on subpoenas for Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter, to come testify before the election and explain what the hell he's doing, why they are interfering with the election, why they are trying to censor the press. And we are going to get Twitter and I believe Facebook, both Jack Dorsey and Mark Zuckerberg, to testify in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee. And we need answers before the election, because this is dangerous. It is a real threat to free speech. It's a real threat to our democratic process. Senator,
what happens, heaven forbid, and tell the American people this tonight, if the Republicans should lose the Senate, then there's no check on this type of censorship. There's zero accountability for Biden. The media will just run wild to protect him, and then social media will take away our voices, people's
Laura,
voices.
That is exactly right. The Democrats want social media exercise this kind of star chamber censorship power. If, God forbid, Joe Biden and the Democrats win, there's going to be no accountability. This will all be swept under the rug, and social media will get even greater. And listen, whatever you think, whether you agree with their politics or not, who in their right mind would want a bunch of Silicon Valley billionaires deciding who gets to speak and who doesn't, and what reporter gets to write something and doesn't? They are censoring. You know, the New York Post has the fourth highest circulation of any newspaper in America. It's over 200 years old, and it was founded by Alexander Hamilton. And by the way, the Democrats' talking point on this, they say, well, this is Russian disinformation.
Brother.
Well, okay, if that's the case, disprove it. You know, the Joe Biden campaign hasn't denied this is Hunter Biden's computer. They haven't denied these emails are real. They haven't denied Joe Biden has met with his oligarch. They haven't denied that Joe Biden was offered millions from Communist China. Instead, he's hiding in the basement, and the press ought to do its job, and we ought to have free speech. Yeah. You know, you mentioned my book, One Vote Away. There's an entire chapter in One Vote Away about free speech and how today's Democrats want to take away our free speech rights and give government the power to censor media and censor citizens they disagree with. That's really scary.
And they will, Senator, punish. The era of punishment is coming, which the angle was devoted to tonight. Senator, thank you for staying on this. We look forward to that testimony by both CEOs.